Good evening, and thank you for visiting my channel. I'm Randa Wise, and I'm a narrator and a writer. So, with all the 4B movement stuff going on and women vowing not to get married, to have kids, to have sex, or even date, my mind started to take me somewhere, and I started wondering what it would be like with a planet full of women, or women who would just went somewhere and lived on their own without any men. Now this ain't I'm not firing no shots against no men, so you guys pipe down and don't get in your feelings, okay? Alright? But I am all for women improvement and women's moving forward. And women doing them. I'm for that. Okay? It has nothing to do with you guys. It has everything to do with what women want to do with their own life. So, my imagination took me pretty far out there. So far out there that I ended up on another planet called the Planette. And yeah, that's what I named it. And this is a place where women work, where women rule, where women live, and where women learn, and where little girls learn. Okay, learn what? Well, you're going to find that out. We have a lot of technicians, engineers, scientists, doctors on the planet. They are in an entirely different solar system from ours. They're not even in our solar system. They have their own solar system. And you'll find out how a woman named Ruby Severs ended up on the planet. So, with that said, I'm not going to keep talking y'all to death. Let's watch together how this work is working out for them. Okay? Ready? Here we go. Introduction to the Planette. The Planette, a place for women, where women share ideas, where women contribute to a feminine society and community, educate one another, relate to one another. On June 1st, 1961, 34-year-old Ruby Severs was walking home from work one evening after finishing her shift at her job when she was encountered by a strange man. Ruby's husband did not come to pick her up because he was passed out intoxicated on the sofa at home, so she braved the 6 blocks to her house alone. She realized the man following her meant harm, so she began running. The street was quiet, and there was no one around to help her. She rounded the corner and found a door that led to an old warehouse and hurried inside, securing the door behind her. She was frightened and confused. She could only whisper the right words. Help me. Please help me, somebody. After those words, she closed her eyes. When she opened them, she was in a strange place, another world she had never seen before. She saw a beautiful beach with clean water and white sand. The waves of the sea crashed, having a calming effect on her soul. The skies were blue, the bluest she had ever seen. There was no one else in sight as she looked around and discovered there were many resources which she later used to build up the place, to make it more inhabitable, to make it a home. Oh, she was excited. Ruby returned to Earth shortly afterward and told her husband about the beautiful place she had been. But he did not believe her. Instead, he had her committed to an asylum. But she escaped, and she made her way back to the warehouse with hospital staff chasing her. She uttered those words, "Somebody help me." Yes, somebody help me. Instantly, she was transferred back to the planet she discovered. Later, Ruby returned to Earth and told her 27-year-old friend Jackie about the planet, and they returned together and began building a home they now call the Planette. Welcome to the Planette, where women rule, where girls learn, where there are no men. The Planette, Episode 1, Scene 1, The Newcomer. The year is 2015. Jillian waited until Harry went to sleep before waking up her children and getting them to the car. Her son Asher is 12 and her daughter Elizabeth is 10. Hurry, kids, hurry up, Jillian said as she got them out of bed. They tiptoed to the front door, passing Harry as he snored, sleeping on the sofa. He turned his body, and Jillian and the children stopped in their tracks. They remained still, praying they did not wake him up. He opened his eyes momentarily before closing them and resuming sleep. He reeked of alcohol and stale cigarettes. Jillian continued ushering the children to the car. She hopped in and drove to the other side of town. She pulled in front of an all-night diner. Mom, where are we going? Her daughter Liz asked. You guys just stay here. I'll be right back, okay? Once inside, she met Jackie Payton. She had spoken to the other woman over the telephone earlier that day, and Jackie told her she was 77 years old. But this woman appeared to be in her 30s. Jackie stood and shook hands with Jillian. You are Jackie? I expected an older woman. I know. Jackie interrupted. Wow. How is it that you look so young? It's all about your surroundings, dear. Jillian sat across the other woman at the table, and Jackie got right down to it. You're here because you need to get away from your abusive husband. Yes, I've been going through this for over 9 years, shortly after my daughter Liz was born. Are you sure you want to leave? Yes, I just can't take it anymore. I just can't take it anymore. Jackie reached across the table and took her hand. It's fine, but are you ready to leave everything behind and never look back? This is serious business, Mrs. Carraway. I understand. I'm ready. You have to be ready to give up your job, your friends, and your family. Wait, my friends? My family? Yes. Perhaps you need more time to think about this? Jillian thought about the beating Harry had put on her earlier that day. She couldn't take it anymore, so she said, yes. Jackie pulled out a packet containing documents and started describing what it entailed. This is a contract that protects you and your children and the other residents. No males are allowed in your new environment. No males? What does that mean? No boyfriends, no husbands, and no male relatives, including sons. Only women and girls are allowed on the Planette. The Planette? What is the Planette? Yes, the Planette. You'll see when you arrive. What was Jillian going to do? One of her children was male. How could she leave her son behind? Jackie noticed her distress and said, "Are you having second thoughts?" "No, no, you can continue." "No one is allowed to know where you are. After 60 days, you will be given permission to visit your family. During those 2 months is when you will be acclimated to the Planette. You will have virtual access to your loved ones, but you are not allowed to give out details of your new home. Am I understood so far?" Yes." "Great. Your abuser is never allowed to know where you are. On the day of your departure, you are required and must be prepared to give up any mobile devices you've been using, your vehicle, or any other property. You won't need it where you are going. Everything will be provided for you. Do you have any questions?" "Yes, I just have one question. Why aren't male children allowed?" "Do you have any male children, Mrs. Carraway?" No, I don't." "Well, I'm sorry for the assumption I must have made, but Jillian, these are the rules. I understand you may have a favorite nephew or a favorite brother." "Yes, I do. I do have favorite nephew and a favorite brother." "Okay. Well, you will be allowed to visit after 60 days, but I caution you to be careful." "I have one more question. Other women who live at the Planette, do they make visits to their families?" "Why, sure, all the time. Are you comfortable with these requirements?" "Well, yes, I am. I guess I just have to get used to them then, right?" Jackie nodded at the documents. "Then sign the first 4 forms, please." Jillian signed the forms, and Jackie used her phone to take pictures of them. "Okay, here are the keys to the room at the Hilton. I will meet you in the lobby tomorrow afternoon, okay?" "Okay, and thanks." Jillian looked towards the car to make sure her children were okay. When she turned to look back at Jackie again, the woman was gone. She looked around the diner, but the woman was not there. It was as if she had vanished. She looked at the documents in her hand. The only other person in the diner was a young woman behind the counter. She approached the young woman and said, "Excuse me, did you see where the woman that was sitting over there at the table with me, where she went?" "I saw her earlier, but I don't know where she's at now, ma'am." Jillian headed back to the car where her children were. "Mom, who was that lady?" her daughter Liz asked. "Her name is Jackie. She will be helping us." Jillian headed out in the morning before the children woke up and headed to her friend's house. Hey, girl, where you been? I tried to call you. "Do you have a blonde wig, Lydia?" "Yeah, I have a blonde wig. What's up?" "I left Harry." Jillian had dark hair, but both her children were blonde like their father. "Well, it's about time you left that drunken bum." Lydia had all types of wigs because of her line of work. She liked to change her look often, and she was flamboyant, often wearing loud colors and makeup. She handed Jillian the wig. "Where are you going?" "I don't know yet. I just found this phone number on a message board to call if you're a victim of domestic abuse. I spoke to this woman and she met me last night. She said she'll meet us today and take us to a new location." Lydia threw her arms around Jillian. "Oh, Jill, I'm going to miss you. Please let me know when you arrive safely." "I will." She headed back to the hotel. The children were awake by then. They inquired about her whereabouts. "I had to go out and meet Lydia." She then pulled out the wig out of the bag and said, "Asha, try this on." "You want me to wear a wig, Mom?" "They don't allow males where we're going." "Where are we going?" "Well, I don't know yet." "So I have to be a girl in order for us to be safe?" "It's for the safety of all of us, Asha. When we get there, you can be who you want as long as we're in our own home. Asher looked askance before finally relenting. You look beautiful, Asher. Asher took off the wig and tossed it at her. From now on, Asher, your name is Ashley. He did not look pleased, but Jillian said, Please, Ash, this is just temporary. Jillian and her children met Jackie in the lobby the very next morning. Jackie was sitting in a beige armchair with her legs crossed. Jillian approached her nervously, hoping Jackie did not notice her son's true gender. Jackie stood. Hello, Jillian. And who do we have here? This is my oldest daughter, Ashley, and this is my youngest, Liz. Jackie extended her hand. Pleased to meet you, girls. Now let's go, everyone. Jillian wondered why Jackie did not have her own vehicle as they got into Jillian's car and headed across town. Jackie gave her directions until they pulled in front of a warehouse in the heart of Hartford, Connecticut, that Jillian had never noticed was there before. Are we going to be living here? Liz asked. Asher remained quiet, for he was afraid to do much talking, for fear of being discovered. Although he did not like the idea of dressing like a girl, he would rather be with his mother and sister than to be left behind. Jackie then replied, You will see. Your phones, please, Jackie said after she hopped out of the car. She then held out her hands. Why do you need our phones, Miss Jackie? I don't. The important thing is that you won't need them. The family reluctantly handed over their phones, and Jackie demanded Jillian hand over her car keys. Once she gathered all the items, she opened the car door and tossed the phones into the car and the keys onto the floor of the passenger side. Hey, why'd you do that? And what about our clothes still in the trunk of that car? You will not need anything but the clothes on your back. You have to trust me. Now, let's go. We are running out of time. They stepped into the warehouse, and that's when it happened. Jillian felt a tingling sensation that she'd never felt before. Scene 3. The group landed on the platform of a large oval-shaped room. It was partially dark, except for 14 huge monitors around the room. The monitors displayed different areas of the planet and parts of the universe. Jillian did not know what was happening, but her children looked excited. Oh, wow, Mom. This is like Star Trek, Asher managed to say. He loved science fiction. Yes, it is, honey. Jackie stood next to them. Then they heard Ruby's voice. Welcome to the Planette. At first, they did not see her, but she came into view as she addressed them. My name is Ruby Severs. The woman was dressed in a dark blue skirt, white silk blouse, 3-inch heels. Her dark hair was pulled up and her earrings dangled just above her shoulders. I am pleased to receive the Caraway family. Thank you. But where are we? Jillian asked. Ruby smirked before saying, You're on the Planette, my dear. So we are no longer on Earth? No, you are not. As I stated, you have traveled to the Planette, where women rule, where women rest, and where women create. Jillian looked slightly away, remembering what Jackie had told her about no boys being allowed where they were traveling. Thank you again, Ruby. We really appreciate your warm welcome. You are quite welcome, and I will see you all tonight at dinner. Scene 4. Jackie led Jillian's family outside of the large building. Jillian was astounded at the environment. It was clean, the weather was beautiful, the sky was a blue that she had never seen on Earth. Trees lined the streets, and small one-story homes graced the street. The homes were made of a rare type of rubber material, and they were beige, and large windows were in each home. Young girls held book bags as they walked home from school. "That's one of the restaurants over there," Jackie said, pointing towards a small building where women were entering and leaving. No wonder the food smells great." Jackie took the family across the street. After several cart-like vehicles passed, Jillian noticed how cute they were, reminding her of golf carts. However, these vehicles had windshields and doors. Each of them held 4 passengers, and one of them had a trailer attached to the back of it to transport items. The woman was hauling a trailer that had several boxes stacked into it. They entered the restaurant and met Lita, who was behind the counter serving food to several women. The woman looked up, smiled at them, and said, "Hi, what would you like today?" "Hello, Lita. I'd like you to meet Jillian and her girls, Ashley and Liz." "Hi there. Have a seat. I'll be right out to take your order." The group took a seat at a table. Lita showed up shortly after. "So do you have any specials today?" Jillian asked. "Apple salad with my special sauce." Jillian was perplexed. She did not know what apple salad was. "Oh, you'd love it. And it's really great with my special raisin bread." Lita spoke as if she read Jillian's mind. "I've had raisin bread before," Liz said. Jackie, with a smile, looked over at the child and said, "Not like hers, dear." "Okay, we'll go ahead and try that. I'll get that, and the kids will get that too." "Okay, coming right up." Jackie turned to Jillian and said, "Lita grows all of her food organically. We don't eat any animal products up here, but the food is healthy and you will stay in good health." "How long have you been here, Jackie?" "I've been here since 1962. That's 53 years ago. I didn't know you were over 40. "Dear, I was born in 1938. "You don't say. So that would make you 77 years old?" "Yes, it does. I am 77 years old." "Well, how do you stay so young?" The food arrived, and Jackie explained as they ate their meal. "Well, it's very simple. The Planette keeps you young. It keeps us young. Ruby is 10 years older than I am." "Wow, she doesn't look it. So she doesn't mind you telling her age?" "Why not? Who are we trying to impress anyway? We're just women running our own business up here. Nobody competes. Men make women compete. Remember that. You see any men around here?" Jillian also noticed there were several races of women. Ruby was white, but Jackie, her best friend, was black. Lita looked Arabic. She soon met with Dr. Fatima Chang, who was also Asian. Jackie drove around the neighborhoods of the Planette, showing the family around. She took them to the school and library, which were operated by Kara and Camilla Hunter and several other educators. They stopped by Fatima's medical center, where Jackie explained they would be examined soon. That made Jillian nervous. She wondered if Asher would be discovered as a boy instead of a girl. What do you mean when you say she examines them? What does she examine?" Jillian asked Jackie. "Well, Dr. Fatima is a doctor. She does a physical." Well, is that mandatory?" "Yes, We need to make sure in order to treat you for any ailments you may have. This is all about health. Don't you want to live longer and healthier? They finally arrived at Stephanie Buford's shop. Her daughter Melly ran the clothes shop with her. Jillian noticed several beautiful, colorful outfits and crocheted hats, scarves, footies, and even jewelry. Wow, this is fascinating. Hello. They heard the voice before seeing the face. A young woman stepped from behind a rack of clothes, holding a pink dress that she was apparently tailoring for a young girl. A measuring tape hung around her neck, and on her wrist was a pincushion. Jackie spoke up and said, "This is the Caraway family. This is Jillian, Ashley, and Liz, and this is Stephanie Buford." Stephanie slightly frowned when she looked at Asher, and Jillian wondered if she noticed he was different. Good to meet everyone. Look around, pick out anything you want, need, or desire. My daughter Melly will bag you up, and welcome to Women's World. She added with a laugh, making the family laugh. They picked out several outfits. Jackie reminded Jillian to pick out a nice outfit for dinner that evening. But Jackie, we cannot afford any of this. But Jillian, do you see any price tags anywhere? You don't need any money up here. You certainly do not need any money up here. They heard Stephanie echo as she stood in an aisle adjacent to them. We don't. Stephanie headed towards them, and then she started explaining. Capitalism was invented by men. Men are transactional, women are not. We do for one another up here. There is no competition to be wealthier or powerful through the wealth of currency. All of that took Jillian aback. So pick out whatever your heart's desire. After picking out their items, they left the store and stepped into the beautiful weather. This is amazing, Jackie. Feels like I'm in a dream. I felt the same way when Ruby brought me here. We were able to build our own houses, got different women to join us. We have women who do architecture, engineering, everything a man can do. But what about muscle power? Muscles, you know. Jackie turned to her and smiled. Jillian just didn't seem to get it, now did she? You'll soon get rid of that thinking. Whenever something is too heavy, we all work together, honey. Jackie nodded towards the building across the street and said, "That's Renee's and Shamira's hair salon. They're closed today, but she and Samira make all types of products from natural resources." Jillian noticed how green the grass was, how fresh the air was, and how much better she felt. Well, what about the fabric Stephanie uses to make clothing? We have scientists here. Everything is from natural resources of the land. How about how the cars are powered? Asher asked, trying his best to sound feminine. We have electricity from the ground. We pull from the source to power up. Jackie finally showed them their new home. She pulled in front of a dark beige structure with many windows. A small buggy sat in the driveway. They hopped out, and Jackie handed Jillian a set of keys and said, "These are your house keys and your vehicle key." Oh my goodness, thank you so much. She led them inside. The place was clean. The countertops in the kitchen were white. All of the appliances were silver. There was a water fountain next to the refrigerator. The floors were white tile. There were 3 bedrooms, each with their own bathrooms. Each room had white walls with white curtains. You know, you can get decorative items from Stephanie's other store right next to the clothes store. You don't have to keep the place looking like this. Jillian noticed the view of a small beach from afar and was thankful the window of her room faced the beach. Once Jackie left, the family jumped up and down with joy. Can I finally take off this wig, Mom? Close the curtains first. They closed all of the curtains before he took off the wig and rested it on the dresser of his new room. Jillian reminded him not to forget it when he goes out. The refrigerator was stocked with vegetables and natural juices. Jillian opened the back door and took in the view towards the small beach, knowing she would be walking on it a lot. Jackie had asked her what her specialty was, meaning what she would be doing to contribute to the Planette. She liked making ceramics. Jackie will be taking her to open her own ceramic shop. Soon, it was time to get ready for dinner. Scene 6. Jillian pulled up into the parking lot behind Lita's restaurant. There were at least 100 vehicles out there. Once they stepped in, they realized some of the women carpooled. Because there were more than 100 women in the larger dining room, a stage was set, and Jillian figured someone would be speaking that night. Fine china was set on each table with linen napkins, and Lita's staff was making their rounds taking orders. Jillian and her children found their table and sat down. Several women came over to introduce themselves and share their contribution to the Planette. There were discussions at different tables, silverware clanking, and laughter as the women and girls enjoyed their meals. Soon, everyone was finished with their meal and Ruby took the stage. Everyone's attention turned to her. Well, good evening, ladies. Well, isn't it wonderful to just say good evening, ladies, only, and not good evening, gentlemen? Anyway, we don't hate men. We don't hate men at all. When more women laughed, Jillian noticed some of them behaved as if they recognized something in Ruby's message. We love everyone. We just don't deal with those who hate us. Women are resourceful on our own. We can actually live without sex. Did you girls know that? But we must love ourselves in order to thrive, to be happy and healthy. That's why you're here. How many are here due to being physically abused by men? More than half of the women raised their hands. How many of you are here because of emotional and mental abuse by men? Nearly all of the grown women raised their hands. We have been raped, physically abused, mentally and emotionally abused, financially and economically abused and oppressed. Here at the Planette, there is no such thing. We are here because we simply do not want to tolerate abuse and oppression. When I arrived here, I was alone. Most of you know the story, but for those who do not, Jackie Payton joined me. Miss Payton is responsible for building and designing the SB, known as our space vehicle that we use to travel this beautiful universe. She created our own navigation system, and she is currently working on the phase-in, phase-out enabler by being able to beam in or out anywhere wearing a cute pair of shoes. Yes, ladies. Okay, so now for those of you who are in doubt, do you still think we need men? Because that's only a fraction of what we have been doing on the planet. Oh, and let us not forget that every structure and vehicle was built by us. We have many girls who are attending Jackie's engineering studio, or school, I'm sorry, ladies. We will keep thriving. We will keep living. We will keep smiling. Is that right, ladies? Jillian had never been to an event that was so thrilling. In fact, she was not allowed to go anywhere that did not benefit her husband. She wondered about him, wondered if he wondered where they were. She knew she could not go back to Earth. If she did, he would kill her for sure. The scar just below her right cheek was finally fading. Jillian then wondered what she would do about her son. She did not want to send him back. He was only 12 going on 13. She hoped that maybe one day Ruby and Jackie would change their position about males. Once they left dinner, they noticed how cloudy the sky was, and the women were commenting on that. It was obvious they were not used to those types of clouds. Yeah, it missed overnight, but it's never this cloudy. She heard one woman say, and then another. Yeah, and it's always just enough to nourish our plants, but never like this. Jillian hurried home with her children. Soon the night was quiet and still. She could hear insects outside. Insects she had never heard before. She lied on her back, staring at the skylight above. The stars glistened, causing her to relax more. Scene 7. Jillian arrived at Dr. Fatima's office the next day with Liz. One of the nurses checked her in, but then she looked at her oddly and said, "Don't you have 2 daughters, Mrs. Caraway?" "Yes, but Ashley wasn't feeling well this morning." "Really? What's wrong with her?" "I think she's coming down with a cold or something." The nurse frowned, pulling off her reading glasses. "A cold? Huh. That's really strange." "Yeah, she felt like she was coming down with something before we arrived." The nurse stood, holding a chart as she guided them to an exam room. "I see. Get comfortable. Dr. Fatima will be here in a few." Liz addressed her mother once the door closed. "Mom, maybe you should just have told them about Asher." "Honey, I couldn't leave your brother behind." "Mom, I know, but..." The door opened and a small Asian woman entered and greeted them. "Hi, good to see you again. Willette told me that your daughter isn't feeling well." "Yeah, she wasn't feeling good when we left Earth." "I see. I think I might have something for cold-like symptoms that she can take. Although nobody gets a cold up here, though." "No? Nobody gets a cold?" Fatima smiled and shook her head. "No, ma'am. Nobody gets a cold. Have a seat, Liz. Let me take a look at you." She rested her chart near the computer as she spoke to the young girl. The girl sat down. Fatima took her blood pressure, listened to her heart, and checked other vitals, and checked her height and weight. She recorded something on her laptop before saying, "Congratulations, you are in excellent health, young lady." After Dr. Fatima was done, a nurse came in and drew her blood. But can I ask you something? What is the blood test for? Oh, we have to check for cancer and any other terminal illnesses. Oh, and if you found anything, what happens then? We have cures for those types here. We even have a cure for AIDS. Is that why so many of the women here live so long? That's part of the reason. The other part is the environment. Women thrive here. Scene 8. After their visit to the doctor, Jillian took a stroll on the beach. She had lots to think about. She was not enjoying the Planette to the fullest because her heart was heavy with a decision she knew she would eventually have to make. The waves crashing calmed her. The day was beautiful, and there was a slight breeze. She looked into the blue sky, appreciating its beauty. She did not know how long she had been walking, but she noticed something on the beach. It was still and wasn't moving. As she drew closer, she realized it was a statue. She examined it and further realized it was the statue of a man that looked like he had been frozen in mid-stride, as if he had been running. She touched it. It felt like something sandy. She wondered if someone had made it. Did anyone worship this thing? She looked into its eyes. There was an intensity about them that made her wonder if he was running to escape something. It stood nearly 6 feet. The most frightening thing about it was that it looked real, as if someone had sculptured it from life. She backed away and was about to head home before she noticed a set of trees nearby. She spotted something that had an off-white, grayish, maybe beige color, the same color as the statue. Curiously, she propelled towards it. She pushed through the brush and realized it was a weird-looking structure. It was over 8 feet tall and had to be about 600 square feet. She approached the entrance. It was dark. She used the light on the phone she had been given by Jackie as a flashlight. She slowly stepped inside. She gasped. Against the wall were skeletons, all in a sitting position next to each other. As she panned the light, she realized there were about 7 figures, all skeletons. Oh my God. They were wearing male clothing. She screamed and backed away, her foot landing on a small branch as she fell backwards. She dropped her phone. She grabbed the phone, scrambled to her feet, and ran towards town, passing the mysterious statue as she did. She ran all the way to her house, opened the door, and locked it behind her. Jackie had told her that there was no need to lock doors because anything she had, others could acquire easily. Therefore, stealing was non-existent on the Planette. She leaned her back against the door. Surprisingly, she wasn't winded. Fatima had told her to lose at least 10 pounds. Other than that, she was relatively healthy. She wondered what was really going on the Planette, and how did all those men die? Were they starved to death or were they murdered? Who were those men, and why were they in that strange-looking structure? No. Are you okay, Mom? Liz asked. Asher was in his room on his computer. Jillian looked at her daughter and said, "Honey, I'm not sure we should be here." "Why not? I like it here." "Ash may not like it though." "I'm not sure anymore." "Mom, can you just tell me what's going on?" "I will as soon as I figure it out. Anyway, I met some new friends at school. They're so cool, Mom." "Well, I'm happy to hear that, honey." Before Liz returned to her room, she said, "Mom, if you go back to Earth, I'm not going with you." "What makes you think you have a choice?" "I do. Ruby said I have a choice." Listen, I don't care anything about that. Mom, you cannot force me. If you want to return to chaos, that's on you. On this planet, every woman and girl over 10 years old can make their own choices. This isn't Earth. With that, the young girl returned to her room. Jillian's mind immediately returned to what she'd seen earlier. She needed to know what happened to those dead men. And they must have been there for a long time because they were skeletons. Woo! Did y'all see that? See how Ruby landed on that planet? Okay, so here's the thing. Now I would welcome y'all comments in the comment section about what y'all think of the newcomer, the first episode. Do y'all think that Jillian was right for bringing her son, even though they said no males? Are y'all wondering what happened to all those skeletons that look like a bunch of dead men in this one little structure that Jillian stumbled upon? Tell me what you think in the comments. And I do definitely welcome everyone's comment. Even guys, you can tell me what you think. That don't mean I'm going to agree with you. But this is for 4B girls. This is for the girls that are truly interested in, even if you fantasize about it, what would it be like to live on a planet? All right. With that, we're going to move on. And in a few days, you will see episode 2. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.